If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience using it, what it is actually like day to day, and a few things I noticed that you will probably care about once it is installed and you start living with it. This faucet is for someone who wants a clean-looking tub setup and cares about the feel of the controls as much as the look. It is not the kind of fixture you buy for extra features or fancy tricks. It is basically about solid build, predictable operation, and a finish that stays looking decent without needing constant attention. The first thing I noticed when I handled it is the weight. It feels like real metal, not something thin that rings when you tap it. In my bathroom, I have dealt with cheaper fixtures in the past that slowly start looking tired, especially around seams and edges. With this one, the body feels dense and the surface feels even. It gives me more confidence that it is going to hold up to years of water, steam, and cleaning. The polished chrome finish is exactly what it sounds like. It is bright and reflective, and it shows fingerprints and water spots more than a brushed finish would. That is not a defect, it is just the reality of shiny chrome. In my space, it looks good most of the time, but if you have hard water, you are going to see mineral spots. I wipe it down with a soft towel after a bath when I remember, and that keeps it looking clean. When I do not, I can see the spots build up, especially where water tends to dry near the outlet. Design-wise, it is simple, and that is what I like about it. Nothing about it looks busy. Once it is on the deck, it reads as a clean line with a smooth curve. It works in a modern bathroom, and it also does not look out of place if the rest of your room is more traditional. In actual use, the reach and height matter more than most people think. With this faucet, I do not have to fight to get a bucket under it, and I do not have to angle my hands weirdly when I am rinsing something in the tub. The clearance sits in that practical range where you can get your hands under the stream without feeling cramped. It also means the water hits the tub in a predictable spot, so I'm not getting extra splash on the deck the way I have with shorter spouts. The handles are what made the biggest day-to-day difference for me. They turn smoothly, and they do not feel loose or gritty. I can make small adjustments without that annoying jump from too cold to too hot. Over time, that matters because you stop thinking about it. I have had faucets where the handles start stiffening up after a year, or they develop that slight wobble that makes them feel worn out even if they still work. So far, this one still feels the same as when I installed it. Speaking of installation, this is not the kind of job I would recommend as a first-ever plumbing project if you have never done one. It is not complicated, but it does require patience and careful alignment. Deck mounting means you want your holes lined up properly, and you want everything tightened evenly so it sits flat and does not twist. I took my time with it, dry fit everything first, then tightened it down gradually. Once it was in, it felt solid with no movement. If your deck surface is not perfectly flat, that is where you might spend extra time, because a tiny rock or tilt is the kind of thing that will drive you crazy later. In daily use, I tested it the way I actually use my tub. Filling the tub for a bath, rinsing out the tub after cleaning, washing off a bath mat, and even filling a couple of large containers for household tasks. The flow feels steady and consistent. It is not sputtery, and it does not make that hollow ringing sound some spouts do. The water stream comes out clean, and it does not spray off to the side unless I am turning the water on extremely slowly at the very start, which is normal. One thing I paid attention to is how it behaves when you shut it off. Some faucets give you a lingering drip that lasts long enough to annoy you, especially if you take baths at night and the bathroom is quiet. With this one, shutoff has been clean. I am not getting that constant random drip afterward. That is the kind of boring detail that makes a fixture feel dependable. Now, I want to address something that people ask about a lot with products like this. There are no smart features. There is no mobile app. There is nothing to connect to your phone. Personally, I am fine with that. In a bathroom, I care more about it working every time than I care about controlling it from a screen. If you are specifically looking for app control, notifications, or digital temperature settings, this is not that category. There are a couple of real-world downsides that are worth saying out loud. Polished chrome is easy to keep looking nice, but it is also easy to see when it is not nice. If you do not like wiping down fixtures, or if your water leaves heavy mineral deposits, you will be cleaning it more often than you would with a less reflective finish. Also, because the look is so clean, any installation mistakes stand out. If the faucet is even slightly crooked, you will notice it every time you walk in. Long term, what I care about is whether it still feels good to use after months of hot water, steam, and regular cleaning. So far, the finish is holding up with normal care, and the controls still feel smooth. I'm not babying it, but I'm also not scrubbing it with harsh pads. Just normal bathroom cleaning, soft cloth, and occasional mild cleaner. Overall, my impression is that this is a straightforward tub faucet that focuses on build quality, smooth operation, and a simple look. If you want something that disappears into the bathroom design and just works, this fits that role. If you want extra features or something that makes a big statement, you might end up wanting a different style or finish. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Kohler K-T14428-4-CP polished chrome faucet.